You know, we're growing food for the world, and we're trying to sustain the land, and being a fourth generation farmer, I guess it's all about the next generation carrying it on as well to continue it for as long as possible. Yeah, no, a lot's happened in the last 10 to 15 years with farming practices, and you know, we're conserving moisture, and you know, our chemical usage and efficiency's got a lot better as well.
It is the biggest job on earth, and we're here to lend support as a company in Landmark, and taking in companies like BASF and passing on you know, technical knowledge and that to the farmers. Getting the most out of your land, but in the same breath keeping the land in good condition, and being able to use it over and over and over again, which is like the aquifer that we live on. It's a mine resource. It's got to be looked after. It's like going to a giant casino every year as you put in a crop. Keeping on top of weed resistance is probably the number one thing.
Everything's such a bigger scale, and as I say, there's a lot of thought and planning and preparation. A lot of it is about being ready to seed at the right time. The internet with its weather forecasting these days is helping us a lot, and you know, we used to just go by the calendar for seeding, and now I'll watch some early patterns of rainfall, and obviously pricing is important, so I'm watching pricing of grain, and even these days I'm starting to watch fertiliser pricing and chemical pricing. So it's just changing so much. There's a lot to think about. So it's certainly, you can say it's putting a crop in the ground and watching it grow, but no, there's a lot more to it.
Unpredictability of everything. So think of disease, weeds, insects, and probably the main one is the weather. So if you can predict the weather, you're doing pretty well.
What we have to do is really protect our crops. So either go with a sort of like a structural design that you know, we don't have to rely on the weather too much and get affected by rain. I think that's got a big part to do with it. They're very susceptible to the weather conditions. Certainly a difficult job when you sort of manage 200 people, and it can get real challenging at times. I think one of the main challenges is these new soil diseases that have been starting to pop up, and that could be a major challenge.
Growers are producing food and fibre for a growing population, using less resources, and reducing their impact on soil and water. Has to be the biggest job on earth. There's not many others that can do that. Customers are looking for produce or products that are clean, that have less chemical residue, are safe to eat, are safe for their children to eat. And so the onus is on farmers and the companies that provide the chemistry for their use to make sure that there's as little impact as possible on the health and safety of the food that farmers are producing.
I think the Australian farmer can really introduce, especially to North American growers, just how to do it better. In Australia, we don't have some of the luxuries that North America would have to operate on. And it almost becomes not say too easy for those guys, because it is still a tough job, but Australia has to, you know, they're working on their own balance sheet. They're working with so many different types of crops in the scale of what they do. So they got to geographically spread out just to hit the weather elements. And keep in mind, this is one of the driest places on earth too. So that without having a pretty good fail-safe crop insurance program really makes it difficult. That I think that our growers here actually, as far as operators, are a lot more efficient in how they run than what I'm used to. Just because you don't have some of those backdrops that make it easier for North American growers. Companies that they're bringing molecules to market, their job's probably going to be even more important today than it's ever been, even though probably it's harder business for them. It's just a lot more research dollars have to go in to find molecules that work. But these companies are our lifeblood. They are, because we're the ones getting the information for these companies to the farm gate. And if we don't have, or if they're not doing their thing, we can't do our thing. So it's vitally important for BASF to make sure that they stay focused on what they're supposed to be doing, and then they turn to us to make sure we're doing our job. We are bringing solutions and technologies to the farm gate that has not been seen at the Australian Agriculture Farm Gate for quite some time. And I think with some of these technologies we're introducing to the marketplace will be a phenomenal success to see the production of yields go incredibly higher now and in the future.
BASF, the chemical company.